Alright, we're back. First thing I do any balancing, we're going to get these shafts out of here. We proved before you couldn't do it in lathe on the taper. It's way too much drag. So this is the S&S crank. This goes in the 46 knuckle motor. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this shaft out so I can see what they balanced it at least roughly. So we're going to do that. Let's see here. That's 5/16 should be this one. Nope, that feels like a 3/8. Nope, that's 5/16. That's the bigger one. Another 1.25 now. Keep playing with different nut sizes. S&S uses a lot bigger nuts than what Harley used, so they're bigger diameter. The one in the 16th, I think, is Harley size. This one's 1.25. This has a lot more torque on that than the old V-twin crank over there. The old Taiwan Tony crank, because that actually has a lot of Loctite on it. You can always tell by Loctite what's on there. When you pull it off, you can see it, the residue in there. And if you look at the color, you can determine what color it is. And that looks like it's a green color. And you can see the residue on everything. So that's what they use, green. My guess is they use sleeve retainer. It's definitely good stuff, whatever it is. So these regions are pretty tight. The crank pin, we could probably barely even get the damn thing out. So we can go over there and put this in the press and see how much pressure it takes to pop it. I'm not going to waste my time by beating on that with a hammer because I already know it's not going to do anything. So we're just going to go over here like this. Stick this over here. And it's offset like a crank pin. This ain't a crank pin. Okay. And press on that with a block. Use a steel block, aluminum block, whatever block you want, doesn't matter. And we got press here. Just crank it down. Okay, that's going to come out of there pretty hard. So I'll make sure it doesn't hit the ground. Need something to go in there to stop it from pounding too hard. Okay, I got a piece of stuff down here, but usually I like having a bunch of rags in our box and something down there to catch more stuff, but let's see what we got laying around here to put under there. So the box full of rags works really, really well. I can find something to use around here, which I don't see. Looks like all my boxes are pretty well thrown out. We just had trash night, so things got tossed. Let's see, where's a pan at? Got my catch pan over here. I'm gonna use this. We'll use this, and we'll grab some rags. Just grab everything that's laying around here. It comes out of there, it's going to come out of there hard and fast. Okay, give you a nice cushion catch tray. It comes out of there like a shotgun. Alright, so a bigger box would be nice, but we'll see. Okay, let's see how much pressure it takes to pop this thing. Put this in high pressure. There's 2 tons, 3, 5, 6 tons. And slamming into here pretty hard. But no damage because it didn't do any damage. It went like that, see. Comes out pretty hard. If you're going to put your hand on there to hold that thing, you better have some rags in your hand. And you better make sure you don't have a gap. Because if you have any distance when that hits you, it's going to hurt. Now you can see the chatter marks in the taper when the S&S machine or flywheel. That's actually a pretty bad job. That's some pretty heavy shattering marks on there. Yeah, that's surprising it's that bad. Now that's either in the flywheel or it's in the shaft. See the same marks? And it is not in the shaft. You can see it rubs right off and they're not there. Yeah, I don't know about, there are some marks in that shaft. I don't feel them, but you can see them. My guesses are in here. Yep. Shatter marks are in the flywheel. So that's not a very good job. You probably used a reamer. Be my guess. It's definitely, I haven't seen them like that before. It's pretty rough. Yeah, the quality's not like it used to be. This is a brand new crank. They just made it this year. That'd be a 2023. So their quality is slipping. Okay, the key is not in there. So hopefully the key is over here somewhere. I remember seeing it. Up there's the key. Good deal. Alright, so press is good. Little catch tool here worked good. I'm about to get me a tray to put under there for catching stuff like this. I used to have a milk crate underneath the press full of inner tubes and old rags. And that worked perfect for catching heavy stuff like flywheels and heavy junk flopping down. So you can get any damage on your parts. Alright. Put these rags back over here to protect the parts. Don't need that one more. Okay, so wipe all the junk off our shaft. So you can see the residue on there from it. See, your thumbnail doesn't pick up anything. You don't hear it, so. Alright. Shaft looks good. Flywheel on the other, not quite as good. Okay, so now we got a bare flywheel, we can actually check the balance on it. Okay, so first thing we need is our shaft. It's over here in the stand. You got 4 different tapers here. You got 2 inner ones and 2 outer ones. It covers all your different flywheels. So there used to be a part number that you could read from S&S, but this is part of their balancing tools. So the early flywheels use small shafts, the late flywheel use big tapers. So you got 2 different tapers. One's probably 5, one's probably 6 degree. So that one fits good. That's the right one. See how that one's not quite as good? That's not the one you want to use. So use the one that works. Now I mark my shafts so I know exactly what they're every time. That way I can repeat my work. Put a little bit of torque on there, but not a lot. So it's tight. See, I marked into my shaft so I know where it's at. Because everything's machined differently. I don't care how good you are, there's always a difference. Okay, so that's that. Now we go over here to our selection of weights. So you look at the other video, we showed all the different weights. Okay, now we can actually check this correctly. Okay, it appears to be a little heavy on the bottom. How heavy is it? About that heavy. Pretty heavy. See how low drag those bearings are? That's severely out of weight. And they go much longer. It's barely making it. See how the shaft's not sliding in or out? That's good. It's going longer than I thought. See, that's how low drag it is. That thing's way out of balance. So put a little drag on it with your finger and I'll slow it down a little bit. There you go. See, it's going to stop here pretty soon. Oop, one more. And that is low drag. A lot lower than it used to be. keeps going though. That's a good test for your tooling. Alright, well that keeps going over there forever and ever and ever. Yeah, it's never going to slow down. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going. See, that's why you have a flywheel. It keeps the momentum going. You can hear the out of balance that thing has. Yeah. Went about another 30 times since I thought it was going to stop. Oh well. So this is my normal weight I use. I'll stop here at some point. This is my real heavy one. This is my old one. This is a super heavy one. Ain't gonna go much more. Here's my race bike one. The Sportster. 12. She's running out of momentum. Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to stop. It's going to go forever and ever and ever. Will it ever stop? I could cheat, put my finger on it. Everybody likes light flywheels. This way you have heavy flywheels on Harley. Keeps the motor running. Oh, I barely made it. Oh, it ain't going to make any more, is it? Nope. Almost back. Almost went back the other way. Alright, she's done. Now it's going to do that for about an hour. Let's slow it down a little bit. There you go. That tests my stand. Alright, so normally I would use this weight here for a normal high RPM motor, which is going to put you about 60% balance factor. Let's see. Gotta hold that a little better than that. Put the camera down here for a minute. There we go. Make sure it holds. Make sure she clears everything. Okay, so if it's 60%, it'll be balanced. So this one's off by that much. It should be centered if they're doing it correctly. If you spin balance it, it'll be offset about 30 degrees. They're always in error, always. This is Mother Nature. Mother Nature is correct. Everything else is bullshit. So I balance this motor, it spins over 8,000 RPM. No problem. Okay, so it seems to be pretty centered. They cut a little bit too much weight out, so it's a lower percentage than the 60%. Now it's just a matter of how much lower it is. Now I didn't weigh all the parts. This is just a generic weight I use for everything. They're all pretty close. Let's put this on this side. Oh, come on, tripod. There it goes. I'll go up. Put this over here. We can see the real work going on. Okay, it's closer than I thought it would be. Usually they were pretty far off. Okay, that was a 60%. Okay, this one here is 31. This is 30 grams lighter. This is what I use for low RPM motors that are going to be run low RPM all the time. If I don't do a custom weight. You can see it's still heavier than that. See, now it went the other direction. So now this weight's light instead of being heavy. You can see the amount of air is more than it was before. So if this is 30 grams different, we probably got 20 on this side. It was 10 off the other way, probably, just by percentage guessing. Called proportioning. So without actually weighing it, I would guess this is balanced at 1220 grams. So I'd guess that probably put about 58%, which is pretty good because usually they're a lot lower than that. So that ain't too bad. I'm alright with that. it's S&S. Okay, let's check the Taiwan Teddy flywheels over here. It's in our 47 motor. So we got the light one and the heavy one. Let's check the light one first. So these look like Truett & Osborne, but when they got the big S on the bottom, that's probably for sifting. That's Taiwan Teddy's private label now. Used to be a very good company, not no more. They went out of business back in the early 80s, so they're not around anymore. I still got parts though from them. That'd be Tom Sifton, in case nobody knows who he is. Google him. Very smart guy. He's what made Harley beat Indian back in the day. His cams worked. Okay, so this is our right side flywheel. Pretty heavy. Okay, same deal. Put our 5,000 weight in there. 5,000 for the RPM. So they're way higher than that. They're heavy. It's probably 20 grams, I bet. Okay, we can go up in weight. This one is, what was this one? 30, 50? I remember 30. This one's 76. 50 grams more, roughly. Pretty close. But the weight's not square. It's heavy on this side. It's heavy down there. Turning 90 degrees is where your max air is at. It's just a few grams off. This is probably balanced at 1270, would be my guess. It's pretty heavy. Now if you're using a modern rod that's heavier than the old rod, this would be a lot closer. And these rods right here are heavier than old rods because they're not machined up in here. So these are physically heavier than the old knuckle rods are. And the piston weight makes a difference too, but it all adds up. So this is a little bit heavy. This is going to be real good at higher RPM, but it's going to shake a little bit. But it's off center, which is not good. It should be on center. Alright, and the off center weight, it's close, but it is off center. Okay, so that's this wheel. I was figuring that thing would be a lot lighter. It's not. Good for a hot rod motor. Who has a high RPM knuckle motor though? It also works on the early pans. These are 53 and earlier flywheels, or 54 and earlier, excuse me. Ugh, this one's a heavy one, it's left side wheel. Now that makes no difference in balance, in case you were wondering. Heavy is heavy. It has nothing difference. It has nothing to do with what the balance is. Totally different thing. Now if you don't have a balancing stand like this, you have to have a shaft, but you can make balance beams, which are just basically these two bars like this on the bottom. Then you put them up in the air and you can roll across those. You can also do it with an I-beam. If you machine it flat all the way across and make it real smooth, you can use an I-beam. The problem is that has to be perfectly straight and flat, both this way and this way. If it's not, it's going to roll downhill on you, give you a false number. I used to do it that way on the old stand before I got this one. They both work good, but they are different. Okay, we'll go back to our 5. And see, this one's heavy by quite a bit. Probably about the same amount the other one's off. And it's off center again. Not as bad as the other one, but it's off center. So the amount of weight air is just a little bit more air than the other one was. So between the two flywheels, it's going to be a little bit heavier than the 5,000 weight would be. So that's a 1230. I'm going to guess it's probably the balance weight on that one. Your bob weight is probably, we're 50 grams different. It's probably a good 20. How much actually is that thing off? It's not that far off that way. We're probably good 30 grams difference, 30 to 35 grams more than what it should be, which is quite a bit. So, oh well. So when you got one wheel balanced for 1 RPM and the other wheel another RPM, you get this shifting back like this. That's called rock couple. It goes boom, 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 boom. It balances when it shakes side to side like this, your motor. Harley motors usually shake up and down. That's why we don't really feel it too much. When you go side to side, it gives you more of a shuddering move that you can kind of feel better. Because on the Harley, everything's rotating normal this way, and we make the air, the balanced air is going to be in the up and down direction. You can also have front to back rotation air, and you can also have side to side. So up and down is your least one that we feel. Front to rear we'd feel the more, and side to side you feel. So this is a side to side deal, which is not uncommon. Harley has a big problem with side to side imbalance on their wheel motors. Yeah, their stuff was really, really bad in the later years on these old motors. They were in the, when you get up in the 70 to 80 inch motor, 78.5 flywheels, all the way up to 84, 85. Evo flywheels came in 86. They were really bad. You had one side balanced for like 9,000 RPM, the other side was balanced for like 2,500. So they were shake real bad like this. The overall balance wasn't too bad. They were a little light, but they weren't too bad. But they were way side to side. It was horrible. So the bike would shake front to side badly. All right, well there you go. Their balancing is a little heavy on these ones, but usable, but heavy. So probably gonna do something about that because I don't think the customer's gonna ride his bike like that. All right, well there you go. That is how you check balance on Harley flywheels. So, there you go.